John functioned within the normal constraints of time and space. And you need to understand that. And he functioned also in an additional realm of the spiritual world as well. So he was dealing with the natural in his real time and space, but he was also dealing with the spiritual realm in that right time and space at the same time. So he was on double duty, naturally and spiritually. Now he moved, upward to see things in heaven, and then he moved also to see things forward in time, down the road. So John, in his situation, one of the things you won't hear me say a lot, John, poor John, this man went through so much as he is trying to dictate and put on paper, or in this situation, papyrus, put down in plain language what he was seeing. So a lot of things that he was seeing in the future, he'd never seen before. So he's going to try to make it relative and try to make it clear based off of stuff that he has seen, when he experienced when he was alive, and also based off of history that he knows through history and through the scriptures. So this is something that John had to try to navigate what he was seeing in heaven, and then also seeing down the future where we are today and even further along. So this is what John was moving around and seeing, and these were the visions that he was looking at. Now, when it comes down to him receiving these images, it was really profound. And it was always specific in the context of what visions that he was seeing. Now, here we go. In verse 11, saying, I am the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. What you see, this is Jesus talking to John, what you see, write in the book and send it to the 7 churches. These are the churches that Jesus had told him to write down what you see, and send all these to the 7 churches in Asia Minor. That was his job. And in verse 12, it says, then I turned to see the voice that spoke to me, and have turned, and I saw 7 golden lampstands. So this is what John is seeing. So when he turned around to see where the voice was coming from, this is what he saw. He turned and saw 7 golden lampstands. Now, the churches here represents those 7 golden lampstands. This is what the churches represents. This is what John was seeing, what Jesus had shown to him. Now, the lampstands is symbolic of light and are used to illuminate in the darkness. So this is what the 7 golden lampstands were, to light up what was in the darkness. Now, they are useless during the day. These lampstands, they're no good during the day. But when the night comes, this is when these lampstands are essential. Now, Jesus said the night was coming when no man could work. This is what Jesus said. The night is coming when no man can work. We'll find this in John chapter 9, verse 4. John chapter 9, verse 4. Verse 4 says, I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day. This is Jesus talking. The night cometh when no man can work. Now, to make it plain, Jesus was being rejected by the world from the beginning of that darkness, which will be removed when he returns. So Jesus was being rejected by the world. And then at the beginning, when there was darkness in the world, talking about spiritually, there was darkness in the world, but when he returned, that darkness will be removed. But in the absence of his presence, the church is to be the light of the world. The church is to be the light of the world, declaring his presence in the midst of the darkness. So this is the darkness. The church is supposed to be that light during the time when Jesus is gone, to be his presence during the time of darkness. So it is the church representing or incorporating the churches of Asia Minor, to whom John was sent to record Revelation 4. So John was sent to write down the stuff about Revelation to give to the church, the 7 churches, so they would know what their job is, to be a presence of Jesus Christ until he returns. Now, The message was not for John to keep. It was not for John to keep or to hold on for himself. It was to be given to the church. It was to be given to the church. Not just for the church, for the 7 churches back then, but for us today as well. It was given to the church to build the church faith. For the church to be faithful, to build our faith in knowing who Jesus is and what Jesus was going to do with his coming. Now, this is the great purpose of Revelation. The reason why it's a must, and I say must, it's a must to be taught to the church, to edify and to build up our faith and build up everyone's faith that's in the church. That was the purpose. So, in the midst of the circle, in the circle of the golden lampstands, John saw Jesus. Jesus is in the middle of the 7 lampstands. Those 7 golden lampstands represents the 7 churches. So you see Jesus in the midst, and he followed with a great detail and glory, a great detail about Jesus Christ. When John saw all of this for us, he was actually commanded by Jesus Christ to write down this information and send it to the church. So this was something that Jesus had commanded to be done. Commanded John to write this information down and send it to the church. In verse 13 in Revelation chapter 1, it says, "And in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one, like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the feet and girt about the chest with a golden band." This is Jesus Christ. The term Son of Man speaks of the Son of God. As we know, God in man form. When Jesus was in deity, when Jesus was a man here on earth. That's what John was looking at. Jesus used that term many times to describe himself in the Word.